Various reasons, trees being combination. It's not
Pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Open Public Meetings Act statements.
Pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting was forwarded to the official township newspapers and posted on the bulletin board and township website. This meeting is being videotaped and will be on Channel 9.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Doyle?
Here.
Mr. Fiorella?
Here.
Mr. Keene?
Here.
Mr. Marsh?
Here.
Mayor Bruno?
Here. All right, we're going to move right into a few resolutions. Resolution 6024, appointing David P. Deegan Jr. to the position of Franklin Township Police Chaplain. Your motion?
Motion of R60-24.
Second.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr. Fiorella?
Yes.
Mr. Keene?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes.
Want to call Mr. Deegan?
Same thing.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, I want to welcome everyone tonight. This is a very special occasion for us in our department to obviously appoint some new officers and also to bring Mr. Deegan on as our police chaplain. Throughout the years that I've been here, we've unfortunately had to use chaplains on different occasions that were some things that we really didn't want to have to go through, but we did. And when we had chaplains in those situations, it really helped us out. So we wanted to create our own chaplain program. I'm real pleased that through the hard work and support of Mayor Bruno and the Township Committee that we're able to bring this to the Township and to the Police Department, and we can use Mr. Deegan, who is also a chaplain with the Gloucester County Prosecutor's Office in the capacity of chaplain for our department. So this is a very special occasion for us.
Thank you, Matt. Dave, we're going to have to take the oath of chaplaincy. You put your hand on the Bible. Repeat after me.
I,
Jake Bruno,
Dave Deegan,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
justly,
justly,
impartially
impartially
execute the duties of
execute the duties of
police chaplain
police chaplain
in the Township of Franklin,
in the Township of Franklin,
Police Department,
Police Department,
in and for
in and for
the County of Gloucester,
the County of Gloucester,
to the best of my abilities
to the best of my abilities
and understanding.
and understanding.
I do further solemnly swear that I will provide,
I do solemnly swear that I will provide
appropriate assistance,
appropriate assistance,
advice, comfort,
comfort,
counsel,
counsel,
and referrals
and referrals
to the Franklin Township citizens
to the Franklin Township
and
citizens
law enforcement officers
and law enforcement officers
who are in need
and
request of such support.
and who request of such support.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, this is a great honor for me. I have, again, probably mid-year last year, I was able to go through the chaplain's training and then sign up with the Gloucester County chaplains for the prosecutor's office. But when Matt talked to me over a year ago that he wanted to start a program, I thought to myself, boy, that's really something I would like to get involved with. And you know, it's hard to say I look forward to it because most of those situations are tragic situations, okay? Because again, with the chaplain program, you help with death notification as well as comforting on the scene, but also just being there to be an ear and the
Raise your right hand. Official oath of office. I, David Polistina,
I, David Polistina,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully
impartially,
and impartially
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties of a police officer
all the duties of a police officer
in the Franklin Township Police Department
in the Franklin Township Police Department
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United
and
States
the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey.
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance
That I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state
under the authority of the people,
under the authorities of the people.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Can I get a motion for resolution 6324?
Motion.
SLEO, Class 2, Omar Alam to the position of full-time SLEO 2, police officer in the Franklin Township Police Department.
Motion.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr. Fiorella?
Yes.
Mr. Keane?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes.
All right, I want to introduce everyone to our newest Class 2 officer, Omar Lam. Omar is from Mays Landing and now resides in Egg Harbor Township. He is of Puerto Rican and Pakistani descent. In 2022, he graduated from Cedar Creek High School and is now studying cybersecurity at Atlantic Cape Community College. He attended the Cape May County Police Academy and has served the Ocean City Police Department as a SLEO 1 and SLEO 2 the previous year before coming to Franklin Township. Some of his hobbies include playing basketball, spending time with friends and family, and boxing. Omar has heard many amazing things about Franklin Township and would love to continue his law enforcement journey with this department and serve and protect this town and have a positive impact on the community. Omar wants to thank his parents, his friends, his grandmother, and Mariella for supporting him in his journey.
Official oath of office. I, Omar Alam,
I, Omar Alam,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly
that I
affirm
will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of the office of
of the office of
Special Law Enforcement Officer 2
Special Law Enforcement Officer 2
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
I do solemnly affirm
I do solemnly affirm
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution
the
of
Constitution
the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the
of
Constitution
the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
I solemnly, sincerely, and truly,
I solemnly, sincerely, and truly
declare and affirm.
declare and affirm.
Congratulations. Matt, what do you want, 10 minutes or so? Yeah, we're going to take a 5 or 10 minute break. All right, guys, we'll just- Motion to open the first public portion for resolutions and ordinances below.
Make a motion to open public portion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Ralph Traveloni, Marshall Mill Road. R60,
Hold on, say that again.
Jake Bruno, Clark Road.
I've been saying that wrong the whole time.
Doesn't matter, you mispronounce everybody's name. All right, R6224, the maintenance program for the annual contract, $24,000 plus or minus dollars. At our last meeting, it was discussed and you pulled it because you were going to take the funds from the Open Space Fund. Have you had the opportunity to research it and decide a different funding source, or what is your funding source?
We did, right? Yes, sir. We're not going to take the money from there.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Good evening, gentlemen. Chris Sayers, 184 Malaga Lake Boulevard. I just wanted to talk today about the introduction of the following ordinance about expanding the municipal budget to exceed the cap. My wife did something which surprised me today. She actually emailed you guys, which she hasn't done before. She likes to usually stay out of political matters. But I wanted to read to you and to everybody else what she wrote and kind of talk about the impact that the decisions and the choices that you guys all make have on regular, average, everyday residents. So she wrote, please consider voting down the budget increase. I have a family of 4. Our car insurance has increased. Our grocery bills have more than doubled. We just received an email that our health insurance will also be increasing, and our utility bills have also increased. Every bill we have has essentially increased. I know the budget increase might seem minuscule, but for most families in this economy, we can't afford another bill increase. Our family budget has to be balanced. Whether that means cutting the grocery bill or passing on takeout, we have to make adjustments. I'm asking that you do the same, balance the budget, cut where you can find unnecessary spending. Please don't add to our ever-growing bills. Thank you for your time, Jamie Mullins. And I will say, Mr. Keene, I commend you. I didn't agree with your response, but I appreciate that you actually took the time to respond to her in a very lengthy email, and she appreciated it as well. So I thank you for that. As I was saying before, the decisions that you guys make directly affect the lives of everyone who calls Franklin Township home. People are rightly concerned about spending and higher property taxes. They worry about it and lose sleep over it. Since 2021 alone, property taxes in Franklin Township have increased nearly $500 for the average homeowner. That's real money, gentlemen. To say we are not raising taxes right now, just keeping our options open in case we need to later in the year, may help you guys sleep at night. But that provides cold comfort to residents who struggle already to make ends meet. I am a Republican, as all of you guys are, and I'm tired of seeing national Republicans, hypocritical national Republicans in Washington, vote time and again to increase the debt limit and increase spending. And frankly, I'm tired of seeing our local Republicans do the same. So I ask you tonight to take a stand for fiscal conservatism and vote against increasing this COLA cap. Thank you.
D. Marshall, 67 New Road, Malaga. Just a couple questions, because I know the state changed on some of the guidelines of what COLA and caps can be used for. What is ours proposed use for this?
Matt?
It's just an estimation from the CFO based on what we're looking at, budget numbers, just due to the cost of living increases in case we need to have it. If we don't do it, we can't increase.
So there's not a particular,
What's that?
You can't go over the cap.
Correct.
so there's not a particular
No.
use in this. It's just something that didn't make in the budget analysis at the end of the year. You're proposing that it may be needed.
This is done
The
every
law
year.
requires that this be done prior to
Budget
budget
Right.
introduction and adoption.
Right.
In order to have that option.
Right, I'm aware of that. Jacqueline Suarez hasn't got back to me yet about that. But one of the things that does state, at least for the extension of this, because originally it's supposed to be, of course, could be set as early as January 1st and supposed to be done by January 10th, and I understand they extended it. But from what I understand, that the introduction and approval of the budget has to be done by the end of April 30th, but you actually have to have the 29th of this month, it has to be in. How is that going to happen if we're not going to have a meeting? That's the way it's the state law at the moment, is what it states.
You can apply for an extension
So that-
every year.
So that's been applied already?
Yes.
All right, how can I get a copy of that? Do I have to open it, or is it something I can get this evening for the extension?
The only thing that's been sent through is the AFS has been sent through the state. And we told them when we're estimating the budget will come through. So the budget has not been submitted to them.
No, I know it hasn't.
The AFS
Right.
has.
Okay, because it states that, even with the extensions, it's got to be filed by the 29th of this month, is what it states on the site.
Right. But if you file for an extension, they'll give you more time.
Okay, I understood it. Like I said, she hasn't got back to me yet, but I'm sure she will. She's pretty good at that kind of stuff. So I was just curious where that was at. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Good evening, Nancy Kennedy, 711 St. George Street. So I was kind of preliminarily really excited when I first saw the agenda because I saw that you were appointing somebody to the Ag Board. And I really hoped really, really hoped that everybody had decided to appoint the woman who was the chair last year and went to the Ag Board believing she was still on it. And then she got there and she was told that no, she was not, in fact, reappointed. And I had asked the committee to consider the fact that there were still 2 alternate spots open and to appoint her to one of those alternate spots. And it appears that instead of putting that woman back on, the all-male Township Committee has elected to appoint a man to that spot and to leave the second alternate completely open. So no person is better than Michelle Doyle. Is that the consensus of this Township Committee? She wants to serve. She went to the meeting. She told the chair she wanted to serve. It's my understanding the chair communicated that. But we'd rather leave a spot open than let Michelle Doyle serve on the Ag Board. Even though she's the owner of a successful nursery, even though a businessman I talked to today called her absolutely brilliant, even though some of you felt that she was qualified to serve and appointed her before, now nobody is better than Michelle. Is that right, Mr. Fiorella?
I didn't appoint her originally, so you weren't talking about me.
Well, not before, but I'm talking about you now. When you guys did the appointments in January, all of you, why is she not on this board? Because it's not supposed to be all of you against Tim Doyle's enemies. It's supposed to be all of you for Franklin Township. John, you're a really smart, really qualified guy. You're on the Library Commission. Your wife's on the Library Commission. If you get into a fight tomorrow and she really ticks you off, are you going to go to Jake and Tim and say, haha, guys, there's no effing way she should be on this committee. Let's vote her off. Would you do that?
I would not do that, but I'm not implying that Mr. Doyle did do that.
Wonderful. You wouldn't do that. So here's the bottom line.
Nancy, I want to thank you for defending my family for once. It took about 5 or 6 years.
Oh, I'm not defending you at all.
It's amazing how your opinion has turned.
No, my opinion of your family has nothing to do with anything.
When she was appointed in the beginning.
No.
That was wrong.
I actually complained when Michael Vasallo was taken off because you had a hissy fit. And I actually commended you when she was appointed to the school board because even though I've never had the pleasure of meeting her, I've heard she's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. The wind beneath your wings. So here's the bottom line. Here's the bottom line. Nobody's better than Michelle. And none of you care how that makes you look. None of you care that you're going to sit there and not put someone who's qualified onto a board because she was married to him. None of you? Because, God, that disappoints me. I thought, Jonathan, you would do better. Mike, I sure as hell thought you would do better. Mark, I don't know you from a hill of beans. But a colleague of yours in Buna says you're a real stand-up guy. Come on. Do better. It's all we want. Just do better. And, yeah, I could be on my last breath. I could have... I don't even know how to express it adequately, and I usually have no loss for words. I would never defend you. But to defend someone who was mistreated because of your position, yeah, I'll defend that until my dying day, because it's wrong. You're supposed to use that position to help the whole township. Fine. You didn't vote on the appointments at the beginning of the year? You didn't vote on the Ag Board? You didn't vote on the Planning Board? You didn't vote on the... No? That one you skipped. Well, then, you're right. Then not shame on you, unless you somehow had an influence. Shame on the other 4. What a disgrace.
I get a motion to close the first public portion.
Motion to close.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve correspondence and reports.
Motion to approve correspondence and reports.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve the minutes from March 12th, 2024.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve the bill list.
Motion to approve the bill list.
Second.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr. Fiorella?
Yes.
Mr. Keane?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Can I get a motion to approve the food handling license?
Motion to approve food handling license.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve farm stand permit, Riddell and Myers.
Motion to approve the stand permits.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 5824, appointing Thomas Harrell to a position on the Franklin Township Agricultural Advisory.
Motion R 5824.
Second.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr. Fiorella?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Resolution 6224, awarding contract to Lawn Connection, Inc. for lawn, weed, and brush maintenance to all the township facilities for 2024 in the total amount of $24,690.13.
Motion R 6224.
Second.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr. Fiorella?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Resolution 6424, authorizing the mayor to sign the Gloucester, Salem, Cumberland County's Municipal Joint Insurance Fund Safety Contract.
Motion R 6424.
Second.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr. Fiorella?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Need a motion to introduce the following ordinance. The public hearing will be on April 9th, 2024. The ordinance is ordinance 324, model ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and establish a cap bank.
Motion O 3-24.
Second.
Mr. Doyle?
Oh, I'm sorry, got one.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr. Fiorella?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Can I get a motion to open the second public portion for any comments?
Motion second public portion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Oh, no, thanks, Jake. Okay, so second public portion, still Nancy Kennedy, still 711 St. George, change of subject. So a while back, we were all in the audience, and there was an African-American gentleman, and he came up, and he was complaining that he had brought a document to the township to be notarized, and he'd had some trouble. And he was upset about it, and as is his right, he came to let all of you know about that. And the reaction of the committee, I mean, nobody did anything offensive that I can recall from the committee at all. I think a lot of us in the audience, of varying political position, felt bad for him, but what are you going to do? So we left, and I had a couple people that I know who were still in the audience, and apparently your administrator loudly declared, well, that's it. There will be no more notarizing in town hall. And the person in the audience challenged him on it and said, why? What are you talking about? You know, why would you do that? And he said, well, that's it. I'm the boss. And lo and behold, there is no more notarizing in town hall, which is really, really crazy, considering that our tax dollars pay for the notaries to hold those licenses. It's crazy because Mr. Sayers and Mr. Marshall were talking about the raise in taxes, and yet there's a really simple service that was being provided to Franklin Township residents who have paid higher and higher taxes, and it was cut because apparently your administrator decided for all of you that it was not going to happen, and not one of you has stood up for the residents to stop it. Because I guess in addition to Team Doyle, we're also Team Finley. Woohoo! But here's the really fun part. I thought maybe I'm being completely irrational. Maybe I'm just letting my personal feelings get in the way. You know, what the heck? I'm going to call other towns, maybe other Republican towns. Woo, we're all Republican, right? Maybe other Republican towns have cut the notarizing too, because there's a big plot out there where people are trying to get things notarized and illicitly. So I called every single Republican town. And do you know what the reaction was? Oh my gosh, sweetheart, bring it in, bring your ID, we'll notarize it for you. Golly, that's no problem. Bring that in. I said to one lady, sorry to be a bother. You know, she said, don't you be silly. We're here all day. We're here to serve the public. I thought, wow, that's not like Franklin at all. But then, and that's not fair. Some of the people who work here still are very much like that. So then I thought, well, what about this whole planning board debacle? You know, you can't have an open public session at the planning board. So I called the same Republican towns back. And I said, you know what? Let me ask you this. How do you feel about planning board public sessions? And one did say, no, you know, we only really let you talk about the applications. But if you have a problem, bring it to our Township Committee. They're very transparent and they really want to help. Terrific. Every other Republican town, oh no, we have an open public portion at our planning board. In fact, one lady from East Greenwich actually said, does somebody not do that? Here in East Greenwich, we're all about transparency. And I thought, wow, again, that's not quite like Franklin either. I've also been reading a little bit on Facebook. People insist on texting me some of the drivel that gets posted, and I usually get a good laugh out of it. But at one point I read somebody, it's Easter week, I'm going to be good, who posted something like, you guys are really making the town better, and wow, lots of improvements you've made, that's exciting. So I thought to myself, there have been other people I've had political problems with over the years that I supported or stopped supporting or what have you, but I can tell you something wonderful each single administration, Democrat and Republican, did for this township, no matter what their politics were or whether I agreed with them or not. I really can't think of anything any of you have done before being on Township Committee, because you actually are one of the people I think of with the previous Democrat administration and the dog kennel. That was great, and it ended up keeping the dog program alive longer. So again, just to recap, we'd rather have an open spot on the Ag Board than give it to Michelle Doyle. We would really, really not want to inconvenience or upset or bother Mr. Finley by having our taxpayers be able to have things notarized. And unlike the other towns where they say, we sure want to be transparent, our planning board doesn't have an open public session. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Harry Kennedy, 1578 Fry's Mill Road. Part of being a longtime resident of the town is that I've been privy to every police chief that's ever served in Franklin Township. I've known every one of them personally. I've known the good, the great, the bad, the ugly, the stupid, the smart. And thankfully, we've had mostly smart and mostly competent chiefs of police. Tonight, the police got some help. I saw that. They got 2 new officers and they got a chaplain. And being a police officer is a very difficult job. You're faced with moral dilemmas at all times. You're faced with tough choices. Who to give a ticket to, who not to. Who to deal with a domestic disturbance and report what happened and wreck somebody's life, or who to make an assumption that it wasn't so terrible and not report it. You have ethical dilemmas all the time. You have problems that you're faced with. The word ethics comes to mind. You have tough choices to make. It's really great to have a chaplain there now, one that can help these officers with their ethical dilemmas, one who's dealt with their own ethical dilemmas, and one who has been appointed as the present chairman of the Republican Party in Franklin Township, the former township committeeman and the former person that dealt with the police department to help the police department out. I know that there's no pay involved in it, and that's probably appropriate for the job at this present time. I would hope that if there's any change to that in the future, and I'm sure it'll be advertised and talked about and dealt with. And again, gentlemen, you make choices. You make choices all the time. And you're pretty smart people. You make choices that benefit the town or that don't benefit the town. You look at Vineland, where Mr. Finley served, and you read about how fast things change. The former mayor in Vineland today showed up at the police department without his shoes on, probably, somewhat inebriated. I know. He was a 1-term mayor, unlike Jake, who's a 6-term mayor or will be. But there we go. It's amazing how things change and how quickly they do. And to watch the metamorphosis take place. I don't know whether it's really understood by the majority of the people on Township Committee. But Dave Deegan doesn't make the rules. He might set the county line for this year until that's changed next year. He might have input there. Jake doesn't have any more power than the rest of you. The power in Township Committee rests in the majority, what 3 of you decide to do, what 3 of you think is the best thing to do, what 3 of you think is the right thing to do for the town, what 3 of you think you can do to benefit Franklin Township. And as I pointed out before, we live in New Jersey, we don't live in Pennsylvania, we live in Franklin Township, we don't live in Doylestown. Again, all of you, the 3 of you that sit up there that aren't in the pocket of anybody, try to make smart decisions, try to make good decisions, try to make wise decisions, try to make decisions that'll make you proud to say you serve on Township Committee. because you're all smart enough to know what the right thing to do is. Thanks for your time, guys.
Dave Marshall, 67 New Road. In light of some of the comments that you can still hear a lot of times on the mic there, Mr. Mayor, when you talk, when somebody's walking up.
I asked him who's coming up.
Good, good. Along those lines, a lot of times the things that I bring up here, I send you guys in emails ahead of time. So I don't have to bring it up publicly, and of course, 90% of the time they get ignored. So that's why a lot of things happen on this public situation that doesn't have to. Recently, you just got a certified letter that all of you should have got a copy on that had a correspondence listed on it to come back that nobody's got back to anybody on yet. Of course, there was no timeline on it. Courtesy would be to do it in a timely manner, but of course, that's a choice everybody makes.
We got a certified letter.
Yeah, it came here to the township with all your names on it, had to be signed for, it was, and each one was supposed to be handed out to you.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. That's been, what, 3 weeks ago now? So there might be a lot of mail in here you may want to check on then. Just a thought, because you never know what residents may send you. I've sent you things before about, responding to emails and things like that, but I noticed that whatever's going on in your phones up there when people are talking must be pretty important, because there's only 3 of you that normally ever look up, and Mr. Keene, Mr. Farrell, and Mr. Marsh, thank you. And other than that, unless you get addressed, it's about the only time that I ever see your eyes. I didn't know half the time you had them. So, both, you and Mr. Doyle.
When you get up, it's pretty much the same thing every time,
Well-
so it's hard to hear. It's like white noise.
Well, I appreciate that. I do. Especially with some of the comments you make, it proves what kind of character you are. Not that you have it, that you are
You
one.
don't have the character to judge me, pal.
I don't judge anybody. I just make statements.
Out there and just make stuff up.
Well, like I said before, everything I've brought up to you, everything, has documentation to prove it. You ignore it, that's up to you. That's at your own peril. But everything that I have given you, everything at every meeting, has documentation.
Well, Mr. Finley's pay, you were absolutely dishonest.
I
You
was
said
not.
he made more than the Vineland administrator. He makes 63% less. I have those numbers.
I do too. I have the Vineland minutes from that meeting that states what he makes.
Let's compare.
Please, we'll do that in person one day.
Tonight, I have on my phone if you want to stay after.
Something I want to end it with, and I don't have the words to say it exactly, so I'm going to read something from George Washington. For if men are to be precluded from offering their sentiments on a matter which may involve the most serious and alarming consequences that can invite the consideration of mankind, reason is of no use to us. The freedom of speech may be taken away, and dumb and silent we may be led like sheep to the slaughter. So just listen to the residents. You never know what you're going to get out of it, that you're going to glean out of it that may be worth hearing. Thank you.
Any motion to close the second public portion?
Motion to close second public portion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chief?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I want to thank you again for always supporting us. The 3 appointments tonight were a great thing for our department and our town, and like I said, I appreciate your support. I kind of wanted to give the residents an update on how we're making out now that we're almost 3 months through the year. Our total calls for service right now are 14,663, which is a 16% increase from 2023. We've made 247 arrests, which is a 10% increase from 2023. We made 20 DWI arrests, which is a 43% decrease from 2023. So that's a good thing. All right, people aren't out there driving drunk. And when they do, we are catching them. We are up 38% in motor vehicle crashes this year already. We have 215 motor vehicle crashes, which is a significant number. So what we did was we went out and we applied for a couple grants. We did receive the Click It or Ticket grant. That will begin April 1st through April 30th. So every day we'll have a guy out there enforcing seatbelt laws. And we also applied for an aggressive driving grant. This grant can be used anytime throughout the year, and we're going to use that to target specific areas that we believe are problems regarding crashes and stuff like that. Police Youth Week we just announced. We're doing Police Youth Week again. That is June 18th through the 21st. We sent messages out to the schools. We started getting some applications in. And the big thing this year, every year we do a field trip. And the field trip this year is going to be to Citizens Bank Park to see the Phillies. So it's a great trip we're going to take the kids on. Construction has begun on our building. April 1st, our lobby will be closed. I posted signs around the building and online providing residents with instructions on what to do if they come to police headquarters to speak to an officer. So basically, we're asking residents to be patient while we go through this facelift. Use your cell phone, call dispatch, wait in your car, and an officer will come meet you at your vehicle. We recently had a canine fundraiser, and we raised $6,500 towards our canine unit. Our canine unit is completely funded through donations, and not 1 cent is spent of taxpayer dollars. So that's a great thing that we just did. Last thing I have is we are receiving a lot of complaints about Main Road and Route 40. It's shut down. The state has shut it down. It's going to be shut down for approximately 3 to 6 months. There's detours. We didn't have anything to do with these detours. I know there's a lot of residents complaining that we set the detours, but this was completely the state. They didn't even notify us when it was starting. We just found out last week. So just be patient with us. We are putting extra patrols out in that area. We've had some accidents in that area due to the detours. And I know there's some residents complaining about overweight trucks on Bluebell and stuff like that. We will be out enforcing those laws, but I just want to ensure people that we had nothing to do with how the detour was. So just remain patient and we'll try to get through it. All right, does anybody have any questions for me?
Opening day, Little League.
Opening day of Little League is April 6th, 9 a.m. Like I said in a previous meeting, we have almost just about 500 kids signed up this year, 38 teams, and we remain one of the largest Little Leagues in the area still.
Chief, for the crashes that you said are up significantly this year, has there been any location that has been pinpointed as a pain area, or is this like due to weather patterns?
So our two biggest areas for crashes are Maine and Weymouth. Earlier in the year, Sergeant Rojas sent an email to the county engineer expressing our concern about that intersection. We were able to get the county engineer to put rumble strips leading up to Main Road on Weymouth. Since then, we've still had about 8 crashes at that intersection. So we sent them that new data. I spoke to the county engineer, and it sounds like they are going to make that a traffic light. That does take a process, so it might take up to a year to do, but that sounds like that intersection is going to be a traffic light. Our biggest other problem intersection is Williamstown Road and Coles Mill Road. It seems like almost every day we have a crash there. So we're going to increase patrols in that area. A lot of people just run that stop sign. So we're going to increase patrols in that area to try to curb some of those accidents.
Thank you, Chief.
All right, thank you.
Committee reports.
Just congratulate the officers that were sworn in tonight. God bless them trying to get in this career today. These are hated by everyone, but except us up here. And me especially. But congratulations and good luck with your career.
Thank you. John?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. I did a look back for 2019 to 2023, just to look at some cumulative facts that we have for the Budget and Finance Committee. So as you can see here, we got some nice graphs, but in 2019, we had a surplus of $29,000. Current, the anticipated surplus for 2023 year is 1.8 million. Our tax rate as a share of the total bill, so what I did here was look at what is the total tax rate or tax bill of a resident and what percent of that is going to the actual Franklin Township Committee as opposed to going to the schools and the county. In 2019, we're approximately 20%. I think the number is closer to 19, and 2023, it is 20%. So it does, we haven't moved there. The local rate has moved from 0.62% to 0.72%, so that's a 10 basis points increase. And over the period, we've had a 23 basis points increase in that. But as a comparison, we have the U.S. economy from 2019 to 2023, so take this what you will, but $1 in 2019 now is $1.20 here today. So we had a cumulative inflation over these years of 19.2%. And then on the back I have just our farmland preservation of what we've done there and taken a look at there. This is a program that's been established back in 1996, and we had a total of 3,693 acres preserved, but in the last 3 years, we have increased that number. The 2020 number was 2,789. So 32% of the preserved farmland has actually been preserved in the last 3 years by the township. So then there's some honorable mentions here, like the audit report is one of the big ones. Our bond rating was assessed as an A+ back in 2017, or it was an A or an A+ back in 2017, excuse me, and then in 2023 is rated as AA-. So we have had an increase in our financial health. So that's just a report from looking at some numbers that we have there. In addition to that, Mr. Mayor, we are looking, and Mr. Finley, this will be coming to you shortly, but as on the Communications Commission, we are looking at some of the additional services Civic Plus offers. So we are finalizing some mapping that we have right now with some requests, tracking software, and we would like to reach out to you when we're finished on our half. We'll reach out to you in administration for a feasibility study. We think that we would be able to work with this at no extra cost for residents. We already have included. We're going to see if this is something that we can do to potentially help out with some of the residents reaching out to us, that we could document how we're responding, and then it could potentially help with over requests as well, organizing those. So we'll see if it helps out the administration, excellent. If it doesn't, then no big deal there, but keep an eye out for that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Library, their new website, much more user-friendly, is still in development. Hopefully that'll be done within the next few months. They are adding on a couple additional digital services as well, but they're not up and running yet. As soon as they will, I'll let you know. And then the environmental plans on doing volunteer cleanup. So if anyone in town's interested in volunteering, you can reach out to them. There's no date set on that yet, but probably within the next 2 months.
Are you on the AMJEC email list yet? Okay, I got an email that I'll forward that over to you. Basically, I think next week AMJEC is hosting some like solar event. I think it's through like an online. I think it's an online event. So maybe some of our environmental individuals would be happy to attend.
I know that they're all on the list, so they probably got it already.
Okay, all right.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Just want to thank DPW for cleaning up the community center and cleaning up after the storm, the police, the electric guys, they're out in this horrible weather. People complain their power is out for 10 minutes and they don't realize there's an accident, this traffic issue we're having. But there's guys that are out there dealing with these conditions while we're all nice, warm, cozy at home. Also wanted to thank Matt. I think every time he gets up here, it comes about 100%, 200%, 57%. We just get done with it. But our budget increase has been less than the cost of living and less than the inflation. And we have more cops, more services, less overtime. And it's just a well-run department. So we want to point that out. When people look at those numbers, they really need to look at those numbers.
Brian, you know Jared or anything to say?
Basically, I want to thank Jared and the crew for all the work that they've done in the parks so far this year. They've been pretty busy in all the parks. They needed a lot of help. The community center does look good, still a work in progress. The one thing I do want to bring up, we're getting a lot of complaints about rain and water on the roads and the roads falling apart.
I'll stop complaining.
we know we have issues and we're working on them, but it's going to take a long time. They didn't deteriorate overnight, so they're not going to get fixed overnight. But we're working on it and trying to do it the fiscally responsible way. So,
thank you. I just want to end with, I'm sure you all seen the news, the Franklinville Fire Department saved the dog. Thing wasn't around. Joe Sway got all the PR. You weren't around either. You couldn't even get it. No. But it was good. It was a good news story. It was a really good news story. I want to thank RAC for another successful Easter egg hunt. with all the rain and everything that was happening, you know, they decided to move it to the Franklinville skating rink. I believe it was maybe 50 kids participated or so, but they really did a great job, and it turned out really nice. And again, Chief told you Little League opening day is on Saturday, April 6th. Come out and support the youth in the township as they kick off another Little League season. With that being said, I get a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.